Hey folks, happy to see you all here at Subsurface Live. Really excited to walk through this presentation today. We're going to talk about something that historically has taken days or weeks, and in the worst case scenarios, months. And we're going to talk about how you can accelerate your time to insights to minutes with Dremio's new AI agent. To put it in terms that might resonate with fellow New Yorkers in the room, you can get your insights faster than you can get a cup of coffee at a cafe during rush hour. So I hope you actually getting coffee out here, but if you had that experience this morning, this will be faster. A little bit about me. I started my career in tech support at MicroStrategy, have been tackling enterprises, insights, and analytics problems since. I have the pleasure of right now working in product management with the engineering team on our AI features and functionality. It's been a really exciting journey. Really excited to release all this to you all today and for you to get your hands dirty. But enough about me. Let's talk about analysis. So I don't know if this resonates with some of you all, but in my career, I have felt like this at times where we have an analytical question, we need to get some insights, and we are scrambling to get the access, to get the data, to understand the structures, and it all comes together finally at the last minute, but it can feel a little bit like this. And sometimes even the question has changed by the time you got to your answer, right? It should feel like this. It should feel like a breeze, right? You should be able to sit back, relax, and let the agent do the work for you. You could probably actually use this on the beach, although I'd advise keeping your laptop away from the water, especially if it's salty. So this is what we're going to try to aim for, right? This is our goal. We're going to make this our mission, right? Insights in minutes so you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I actually do mean minutes. I have a collection of demos that I have recorded. There is no sleight of hand. There's one moment with sleight of hand, but there's a reason why. No sleight of hand. You can actually pull out your phones and time me. This will show you that it is truly minutes that we are talking about here. But before we can actually get to those insights, we need to make sure our agent has context. And you saw a little bit of that in the discussion this morning, reminding you about our labels and wikis functionality that allows the agent to understand the operational context and the semantic context, giving it a complete contextual understanding of what's inside the environment and how to respond to the business questions that are going to be asked of it, right? Just keep in mind that we do have AI-generated wikis and labels in our product, so I'm going to be demonstrating that on the screen in a second. By all means, you can edit those, you can write them out yourself, but if you are trying to be quick, right? This is the right way to go about doing it. Lean on our product to analyze and determine what those wikis and labels are going to be. So let's go ahead and do a quick little demo of what's happening here. I'm just going to go ahead and talk you through this. So first off, I'm going to use a data set that you can try all this yourself with afterwards. And that's really important to me, is to make sure you have the ability to do this on your own afterwards. We have this customer 360 data set. And if you look inside, there's a collection of different tables that track purchase information across products and brands. If I go into the actual table of details itself, I can see that I have opportunity to set or generate wiki and label. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click the options here. Well, the video is. Going to go ahead and click the options here to quickly generate the labels for me. And also generate the wiki. Again, this is super important. This is how the agent is going to know how to contextualize my question within the context of what's available in the tables. And there we go. Nicely formatted, column descriptions, data types, everything I need to know, everything my agent needs to know. Now this is where the sleight of hand comes in. I'm not going to do this for every single table because that's not the point of this presentation, right? It's to actually get into the agent. So I will show you one more time generating wikis, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. Curious, anybody tried this yet? Well, yeah, she leads product. She's tried it more times than all of us combined. All right, so here we go. We have all of our labels. All of our wikis are set up here on my 5 different tables that I'm going to be using with my agent in my demos. And just to verify, The sleight of hand was I generated all this before, but just to make sure that they're still there, right? Only point there'll be sleight of hand in this whole presentation, I promise. Have you gotten your coffee yet? So let's talk about insights, right? What does insights mean? Before an agent and after an agent. Well, before an agent, and you saw this a little bit in the keynote, right? We had to engage individuals to figure out where my data was, how can I actually structure my data, what are the business definitions based on the structures inside the database or the lakehouse or wherever it may reside, and then actually how do I write the SQL that I need to get the answer to my final question, right? There's several questions I have to go through in order to actually get to a place where I can answer the original question that I had, right? I don't know, hopefully it resonates with some of you all, right? Well, let's look at what it's going to be like with the actual agent. Oh, my notes fell. Begin. Cool, all right. So the home page features the AI agent. You can easily get started. And again, like I said, everything I'm showing you here today is using the data sets that are available if you go up and sign up for the next-gen cloud that we released today. Go ahead and ask, what data sets are available to me to help analyze customer purchase behavior. And we'll see the agent starts to evaluate my question and actually look through the environment to find the relevant tables. Right? Observe that the agent is first looking to make explicit matching and then expanding the search to make sure the agent has the full context. I get a really detailed response here showing me the different tables, the column types, right? The column definitions. And notice also it's telling me what it's perfect for, right? The agent is starting to intuit when I might want to use a particular table, right? This is doing it on my behalf. You'll also notice as we scroll through here that it's talking about the relationships. It's preemptively answering the questions, how do I bring these things together? I'm not going to have to write SQL, but at least it's telling me how to do that. It's also giving me recommendations on what kind of analyses I can perform. I haven't even asked my analytical questions yet, and it's already offering me the types of insights that it knows it can derive. Let's go ahead and ask an important question. What are the top selling products by brand? Similarly, like you would see in other agentic chat tools, right? You start seeing the tool calls, agentic chat clients. You see the tool calls being spawned. You see potentially some SQL. You see it trying to figure out, okay, what do I actually need to answer this question? There might be a little bit of sampling taking place as well. And all of this is in pursuit of giving me the answer. Now, I do want to point out at this point, all of this activity is taking place as my user. So all of the relevant permissions, access controls, all of that's being applied, right? There's no circumventing any of that. The agent is doing the work for me, but it's submitting the queries as if it was me, Alex, in the environment, right? And we are about to get an output here, and I would argue that your coffee is still not ready. And finally, a little bit of formatting. This is a really interesting case, too, because we're actually seeing the agent figure out it needs to do a little bit better formatting for me to actually get insights that I need that are complete, contextual, and also trustworthy. The tool calls that are being displayed here are in pursuit of making sure you understand the agent is not doing anything that is obscured, right? Not transparent to you. The agent will also have a slight delay at times as it's returning. So you'll see the little green dot coming in there, right? So we are doing some formatting, right? We're not just taking the response back from the LLM as a raw response, right? That wouldn't necessarily be the best thing for everybody else in the room. Some people can probably read that. Others might have a hard time. And here we go. I know it's scrolling really fast. We'll go back up in a second. So here we go. We get some really nice analysis of my bestsellers by brand. Notice I did not ask about the top 3 products. It decided to try and do that. There aren't top 3 products. So the agent maybe went a little bit farther than I expected, but that's okay. I'm still getting really important insights. I'm understanding what the top selling units are, and it's accompanying that with additional key insights. Who are the volume leaders? What are the revenue champions? What are the price strategy patterns? Right? All of this is being provided to me based on a simple question that I asked. What are the top selling products by brand? Right? So our agent is designed to help drive those insights to the level that you need, even before you start asking those questions. Click. Oh, nope, too far. That's not all, right? So we have data. We have a nice long paragraph of an explanation, right? I'm not sure how many folks want to put that into a PowerPoint deck. I don't. I want to get visual, right? So let's say you have your data. What's the next thing you have to do? Go engage the BI team to do a visualization, realize, oh no, I actually need to drill into this. I need to pivot. I need to adjust. I need to highlight a certain region, a certain customer. Well, similarly, with our agent, you can do the exact same thing. You do not have to rely on anybody but yourself. Now, I'm going to start a new chat here for the purposes of showing you that we are able to continue to iterate on this idea, but you could, by all means, have maintained the chat, not gone back to the home page, and just kept asking the questions here as the answers come back. And so you'll see I'm asking it to create a bar graph showing revenue by brand. You'll see the tool calls being iterated upon. You'll see it looking for the relevant tables, the relevant schema. You'll see it executing some SQL. This is an interesting case too, right? You'll see it attempting something, realizing that it has to try again. Right? It's a little red dot here. It's not a bad thing, right? You'll see this in any of the agentic chat clients. It's thinking through and realizing, okay, I made a mistake. I'm going to get it right. It persists, and it gets to the right answer. What's going to be really important here also is to keep in mind that the visualizations that get created are going to be grounded in your semantic layer, right? You set that up at the beginning. So these visualizations are going to be anchored on your business definitions and your business perspective, right? Here we go. That's right. I was like, where's the timing? It should be here by now. So here's the graph, right? We get a really nice graph. We get a really nice summary. The graph is not just what you get by itself. Again, we're talking about getting insights in minutes. Our agent is tooled for that. You're getting the insights with your graph. That is part of the important narrative of a visual. That should have been on the screen longer. That's my fault. But a visual is worth 1,000 words, right? A picture with 1,000 words, what we say. But a data visual with a narrative is really compelling, and it tells the story that is hidden inside of your data and that our agent is helping you reveal, right? Yeah. That data is just, I just did some inserts into iceberg tables. Yeah, but that. Yeah. Yeah, just raw. I mean, the only annotation, right, was the wikis and labels. Yeah. Click. You guys keeping track? Anybody keeping track? All right, 8 minutes. All right, you can probably get something at Blue Bottle in 8 minutes. All right? But that's how long my demos have run thus far, 8 minutes. I know I've been talking for longer than that, but that's all the time it took, including the time I stopped to talk and scroll to get those insights and get those visuals out of Dremio, right? But we're not only talking about insights that are analytical, right? We're talking about other types of insights, such as looking at SQL, right? For the data engineers, platform engineers in the room, sometimes you might be inheriting some SQL. You might have to analyze some SQL, tune some SQL, improve the SQL. And sometimes you actually get these questions from the end users themselves, right? So what if you could do that exact type of analysis, right? Get the insights about the SQL really quickly inside of the agent as well. Please. This is a chunk of SQL that was generated by the agent in one of the prior videos that you saw. I copy and pasted this into our SQL runner, but imagine this was SQL that you inherited from somebody else and you had to analyze. You can right mouse click and go to Explain SQL, and you'll see the agent here start to analyze this SQL. It's looking at the SQL from the perspective of the Dremio SQL parser. It's looking at its internal perspective of understanding Dremio SQL and best practices around writing SQL. And it's going to actually give me a very detailed analysis of how this SQL is going to be executed, where the opportunities for optimization might be, where the challenges might be, where the sluggishness might be. We'll also get possible reflection recommendations in some cases. And this is where we're going to see the velocity for our platform and data engineers really start to accelerate. Because now, instead of having to sit there and parse through this SQL, which I don't know how many of you all had to do that before, but I have, you actually get a really nice output, and you can see the query architecture very clearly broken out in a very comprehensive, detailed output that you can scroll through, understand what this query is trying to accomplish, right? Get a perspective on what this query is doing, and then you can even go ahead and ask it, if you would like, how can I optimize it? And so it's not just going to analyze, it's going to take the burden off of you, right? So that leaves your cognitive bandwidth for more critical thinking and leads on the agent to do the actual labor on our behalf. Now, the agent is going to give me an output here that, there we go, is nicely formatted. And I went a little fast through that. You'll notice a little copy icon right there. Sorry, I should have gone slower on that one. There's a little copy icon so you can copy the SQL quickly and easily. No need to go ahead and rewrite that. I would also say that you'll see a nice explanation here as to why it's saying these are possible recommendations. You might even see, say what the impact, the positive impact of that recommendation might be. I'll have opportunity for questions at the end, by the way, folks. And then here we go. It tells me, well, here's an optimized query for you, right? Now, notice the performance impact summary as well. What you'll see here is the expected impact, right, of each optimization. Now, suppose I wanted to turn this into a view, right? So I can ask the agent, what type of SQL would I need to run to turn this into a view, right? And it's going to give me a really nicely formatted view SQL. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, Alex is going to show me how I can actually have a creative view. Not yet, but later this afternoon, my colleague is going to be doing some discussion around the data engineering and the future enhancements we're looking at for our agent. And yes, in the future, we are going to allow it to do that type of data engineering work for you. For now, it's going to recommend the view, but stay tuned. And there we go. A nice detailed explanation of why the view is created the way it is. And then also giving me, again, options on how to get insights based on that view. All right. So not just SQL insights, but performance insights as well, right? For our platform engineering friends who have to go ahead and look at all the jobs and figure out why are things sluggish? Why is this operator taking so long? Is there a network issue? Is there a data skew issue? Well, similarly, we can get to those insights in minutes as well with our agent. I'm going to go ahead. And this is a job that was run by the agent previously. Again, all of them were submitted on my behalf. And I have this nice little button up there, click Explain this job. And now the agent's going to take a look at the query profile. It's going to look at runtime metrics, execution stages, and compare that against its internal understanding of what a good job profile might look like, troubleshooting scenarios for job profiles, ways to make jobs more performant, more efficient, and obviously its own knowledge of Dremio as well. I think the tool calls here are actually quite interesting as well. You'll see it call out the job ID, and here you go. we have our query summary. So what is the query doing? This is consistent with what we got from the SQL, by the way. So when we did explain SQL, we got a similar discussion, which makes sense. This is the SQL, or the job that spawned from the SQL that I was presenting earlier. We start to see the most expensive operators, right? And as we go through this, we'll see information about memory analysis, table scans, thread analysis. Getting to this level of detail on your own, right, is not going to take you minutes. If you have to go bring up that job profile, look at cases, look at documentation, use your intuition, right? Use all of the creative thinking you've gained. But now you can look at the recommendations. I know that's not great formatting, it's fixed. You can look at the recommendations and see how the agent tells you, because the agent is Dremio's agent, to make this better. So for those that need to quickly understand a job and how to make that job more performant, those insights are available as well in minutes, right? You can actually extend any of those conversations further and keep asking the agent more questions about that job or that SQL, have it look at another job, grab another job ID, right? And proceed through that investigation. That was 6 minutes between those two videos, right? So you can definitely get a coffee at a bodega that fast, but I'm not sure where else you can get that coffee, right? Streetcar, yeah. So my dad did when growing up. So, some important takeaways here, and I do want to leave some time for questions, right? We're talking about faster time to insights, right? The AI agent is reducing that time from days to minutes, right? Moving exploration and answers and questions all into a single window, right? We're looking at natural language governed context, automatic visualization that eliminates the need for all the handoff and all the other tools that slow down getting insights and actually getting to decisions, right? And every answer is explained. You've seen the agent give you the reasoning as to why it has decided to give you that answer, right? We do not need to sacrifice confidence when we go for speed, right? We can give both of them to you at the same time, right? And that is the goal of our agent. Now, I do want to point out again, click, that this is all available. All this data is available inside of any new environment that you spin up today for our next-gen cloud. So you can go ahead, go over to Get Started, sign up, get started, and ask the AI agent about the Customer 360 data set. Bonus points if you go ahead and create the wikis and labels in advance, but it'll figure it out if you don't have it. And that, folks, is getting insights in minutes with our AI agent.